What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. We finally did it, baby. We got through the whole raid and got the Raszageth kill. I'm going to show you the video footage in a second. I want to run through the build that I ran as a Shadow Priest in this fight. Now, I made a couple mistakes with my talent tree, so I'm going to make sure to highlight those for you when we talk about it, but we will get into it right here. Number one, the talents that I ran were very strange. I was trying out kind of a bit of a different build. I was trying the Death Speaker build, and then I had Insidious Ire down here. And I also have 1 point in Whispers of the Dam, and I also have 1 point in Unfurling Darkness, which is something that I don't think anybody's ever taken. This is the one talent that I actually would not change of the ones. When I said I made a mistake picking talents, this was actually not one of them, in my opinion, because this thing actually did a lot of extra damage. Now, I didn't proc it as much as I should have. Every 15 seconds, you can proc this again. So it's interesting to think about, right? The way you should think about this is to say every 15 seconds, you get about 16,000 damage. So if I get a calculator out, let me get the old calculator out. We're going to take 16,000 damage and multiply it by 4. So that's every minute. So every minute, if you're doing this on cooldown, it's every 15 seconds, you get 16,000 more damage, right? So give or take like a couple seconds, right? So basically, on average, every minute, you're getting 64,000 extra damage. If you divide that by 60 seconds, that gives you 1,000.66 damage per second. So Unfurling Darkness would actually add 1,000 damage per second, 1,000 DPS to your overall, as long as you're spending it on cooldown. So I just want to make sure I give like an honorable mention to this thing, because I don't think it's actually that horrific on a single target. So yes, you're like it's slightly redundant because you're casting Vampiric Touch again on your target, and you've already cast Vampiric Touch. But what you're looking, all you need to look at here is to say, okay, this talent will add 1,000 damage per second to my build. That's what it's doing. Is that better than taking, Whispers of the Damned, or taking Mind Melt, or taking any other talent? Like, how much damage is another talent going to add to my overall DPS? You need to think about that, right? That's kind of what you need to think about. So I actually like Unfurling Darkness. I think Whispers of the Damned is okay. I think Insidious Ire is actually fine. The one talent I should have added, I should have taken Whispers of the Damned out and put in Mind Seer. Because of the ad phase in Raszageth, I really should have ended up doing that. So this is what the talent tree probably should look like. Something like this. You go Yogg-Saron, and you're going your Sarge. Your build still revolves around Death Speaker. It still revolves around getting those resets on Shadow Word Death. I know some of you guys don't like that playstyle, and I totally understand that, but this is a Mind Spike build. It's not a channeling build with Mind Flay Insanity or Cthulhu or Screams of the Void. This is that on-hit build with Mind Spike. And again, that's why Unfurling Darkness would make sense in this build, because it's just another button that you can press, and it gives you that extra 1,000 DPS. But if you were doing the channeling build, you don't want to take Unfurling Darkness, because you want to stand there and channel Mind Flay. You want to stand there and channel as much as you possibly can to proc your Idol of Cthulhu. That's the whole point. So this is the on-hit build. The one thing I should have added was Mind Seer. This was a big problem that I took. I should have taken this, and I didn't because of the ads in P2, which we'll talk about in a second. Mental Decay. I also you also don't take this because, again, you're not channeling Mind Flay ever in this build. So this is the one thing you do need to refresh your dots. But Unfurling Darkness kind of incentivizes you to refresh your dots, because every 15 seconds you're going to be getting this big 16k damage swing. It actually does more than 16k, right? Because of my mastery. This is not accounting for mastery. So it would actually be higher than that. It would be more than 1,000 DPS. It might be like 1,100 or 1,200 DPS. So that's kind of the build that I was running. I actually haven't checked to see Death Speaker yet, how many procs I got. How many procs did I get here on Death Speaker? So we got 19 procs on Death Speaker in the Raszageth fight. 19 procs. I got 19 extra casts of Shadow Word Death. Isn't that crazy? I did 34 over the course of the fight. So, again, always keep that in mind, guys. Always keep that in mind. that Shadow Word, the Death Speaker thing does proc, and a lot of you guys just haven't really seen it, unfortunately, or you're maybe not noticing it quite as well in your testing. So just make sure that you're kind of paying attention to that. So let's look at the actual video itself. This is the poll. I am going to run you through the entire poll. Now, again, I was raid leading for this poll, so just keep that in mind. Sometimes that can be a difficult thing to keep my DPS going. So out of the gates, you can see the damage we're doing is respectable. We're almost hovering. We're hovering above 70k right now. Everybody's kind of fighting for first place there. We're actually at the top of the. We're at the top right now, which is pretty cool. That was my unfurling darkness cast there. But we do go down by the end. I think I settle at about 35k or 36k or something by the end of the fight. So again, that's because I didn't take any AoE talents realistically, and so I wasn't doing any AoE damage when the ads come up. So if you've never done this fight before, let me just explain a couple things for you. This is one of the biggest parts in Phase 1 where you get pushed into these patches of lightning that you have put on the ground. So you have to position the patches of lightning correctly, which is these bombs going off right now. I have one on me right now. If you're the person with the bomb, you need to pop a defensive right here. I'm casting Mind Spike. At the very end of my Mind Spike cast, I'm going to pop Dispersion. Watch this. Boom, I'm pressing Dispersion right now. Then the cast goes off and I don't take any damage. So as a Shadow Priest, this is exactly how you want to approach this kind of fight, okay? The bomb goes off. You pop Dispersion right as the bomb goes off, and then you cancel Dispersion right when you're out of the bomb. So I pop Dispersion now, I cancel Dispersion, and then I get all my spells back. That's how you want to do it. I took literally no damage. Right after those bombs get put down, or periodically she'll do Lightning Breath. It'll one-shot you in maybe it'll two-shot you, like over a 2-second period of time you'll die. So you got to avoid that, and then Hurricane Wind pushes you off the platform. But if you have lightning patches here, it'll stop you from getting pushed off the platform. So you must position these lightning patches in the correct spot. This is the main thing in P1. Then we have this. This is these circles are going to go off, and then these little ads are going to spawn. They can be kicked or stunned or feared or incapacitated or dispelled, and Mass Dispel is huge here. So as a Shadow Priest, you want to use your Mass Dispel right here. I'm pre-Mass Dispelling before the ads even come out. Boom, they're all gone, just like that. Okay, so make sure you do that. Once again, the lightning comes out. There's periodic lightning that just hits the floor, not a big deal. And again, we're going to get pushed back into the lightning again. The tanks are getting their electrified claws mechanic, which makes them take a heavy dot there. Getting pushed back. Then he'll do a breath here, so you got to watch out for the breath. They're right on me. Got to look out for that every single time.
We're phasing soon.
So then we're phasing. This is us going into P2 here. So she'll fly away. You need to split into 2 groups, okay? So I have one group going to green and one group going to purple, and you're going to go to 2 different platforms here, okay?
This is the poll, dude. This is the poll.
Okay, and then you're going to get launched onto the platform.
Get ratios, son.
While you're doing this platform, Raszageth's going to fly over top and nuke the platform with lightning. So you have to watch out for her. But this is the AoE portion of the fight where I screwed up and didn't have Mind Seer. So I lost a lot of damage here. Like, imagine if I was able to channel Mind Seer here, I would have been doing crazy amounts of damage. So realistically, if I could do this fight again, I would be able to do a lot more damage overall. I would at least be able to do 40k overall. Right now you can see I'm hovering at like 35k. I would definitely be able to get way higher than that because Mind Seer just hits so hard. So Raszageth is behind me. You can see her right up in the sky right here. She's about to hit the platform. I'm telling everybody to move away, and she's going to go do a big beam across the platform. You just have to keep watching. She rotates back and forth between the 2 platforms that you're working on right now, and so you have to make sure you're aware of that. It's coming. Otherwise, it's rinse and repeat. You just kill these ads, move on to the last pull. Okay, I'm looking for the dragon. There she is right there. We're killing this last ad. I'm kind of standing back a little bit because she's about to go. Oh, there's a bit of a pause there. So we kill the ads, and then there's this little teleporter here. You're going to take this back. Okay. Shadow Word Death. There we go. You can go to the other side and help them if you need to, if you finish early, but we didn't actually have to. Now, P3 is coming up. That was P2. This is P3. We have these new markers on the ground, the red and the blue markers. This is very important.
Don't blow cooldowns. Wait till we're in the storm.
you're going to get a debuff on your character. You're either going to get a little tornado above your head or a little cloudy storm above your head. You must go and stand with other people that have the same debuffs as you. Okay?
On red,
So I'm calling it out right now.
dark storm on blue.
So here they go. You can see little tornadoes. I got a dark storm. It also shows up. It gives you the square above your head as well, and it gives you the X above your head. It's very obvious. If you're standing with somebody with the opposite charge, you will kill the raid. It does a lot of raid-wide damage. Every time she pulses here, it does so much damage, it'll kill you. If you're doing this properly, you get a buff, a huge, huge buff that makes you do 200% more damage. So you need to do it properly, or else you're just going to wipe your raid. So that's the most important part about P3. There's also a pushback that happens. Once again, this time she doesn't push you off the edge of the platform, but she does a lot more damage and she sends out this wave. You might have seen if you were watching the Race to World first, the mythic teams and stuff and the heroic teams, they would actually blink past this wave to avoid the damage it does, and you can do that. We just didn't have any. I wasn't using my blink, and it's just normal, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm already out here.
The third mechanic here is these big circles. It's mostly a ranged mechanic. I pop Dispersion here to avoid all the damage. In normal, it just detonates them, and then if nobody else is standing in those circles when it goes off, they just disappear. On Heroic, you actually have to manage that mechanic a lot more, but on normal, it doesn't really matter. Here's the Master Spell once again. Get rid of the ads. That's still happening. I fear that last ad. Rinse and repeat, guys. She's going to push us back again. There's the next pushback, and then we're going to have to stack together for the Storm Surge buff. Here it comes. So I got the Tornado this time, so I have to go to X instead of blue. Okay, then you do lots of damage. Pump, pump, pump. There we go. We get through that. Another Master Spell coming out right here. This is what you can do as the Shadow Priest. Just remember, Master Spell is completely busted. Then she's pushing us back again. You can see at the top of the screen, the Vault Integrity is going down 20%. It's actually going up again now, but it will continue to shift down.
Get close.
Here she goes. Another pushback. Oh, I'm going backwards. That's why it's going up. I'm like, why is it going up? That's my fault. So the Vault Integrity will go down. It doesn't go back up again. It just goes down. That's really funny. Okay, so we're going 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Once the Vault Integrity reaches 0, the next phase starts. So you need to survive this phase until the Vault Integrity gets to 0. Now, this is P4.
I did 100 damage to her links.
Phase 4, okay? This is going to be ads. So there's a big ad coming out in the middle platform here. This guy does ball lightning, so you need to walk away. He just sends out a bunch of balls from his position. You need to dodge them all. And she's breathing across the platform again. And she basically always goes through the middle of the platform. You need to just watch where she is. She's right above my head, so I need to back up. Okay, there goes the beam right across the platform. Then the ad's going to teleport here and spawn a bunch of little ads. So here's this teleport. Blink right there. The little ads need to be killed. You need to stop the little ads from getting to the big ad. If they reach the big ad, they will empower him. So don't let them get there. Okay? So we nuke them down. Really, really good damage there. And then we get back on the main ad while we're dodging the beam. And the balls. There's balls coming out. There's a beam on our head. There's a lot going on in this phase. Okay? So very important to keep your head up. Check where the dragon. There's Dragon Breath there.
Dragon Breath. Get out of the middle.
I call for a Ring of Peace here.
Ring of Peace.
Just to stop the ads from getting there.
Kill the big ad.
Perfect. And the big ad dies. We're done with this phase. Now, at the end of this phase, you need to get launched. You're going to get launched again. You need to be standing in the right spot. So listen to this.
Get to nipple. Get to nipple right. Get to orange. Right now.
So I'm telling everybody to get here because this is where we need to be so we can get launched. Here comes the big launch.
Great job. Everybody just stay alive. Look for your health stones. Look for your
defensives. I was trying to say defensives, and I couldn't think in the moment. My mind was all jumbled. Here's phase 4, or 5. This is the last, final phase here. There is an enrage in this phase. It is a big lightning circle around the outside of the arena. It slowly encroaches. It goes in and in and in until you're dead, okay? That's how this phase works. So you need it's just a DPS check. Now, this fight is so long that you get lust back. So you lust at the beginning and then you'll have lust back again. Well, we're going to get it in about 45 seconds here. So you can see the lightning is just working its way back in. There is a thunderous blast that goes off on the tank, so everybody needs to stand away from the tanks in this phase, or else you'll get tagged with thunderous blast, and then you'll detonate afterwards. The thunderous blast needs to be mitigated as much as possible because whoever gets hit with thunderous blast explodes afterwards. And if they can mitigate a bunch of the damage, then it stops the explosion from being really big. So that's just a tank mechanic there, but important not to be standing with your tanks.
Okay, watch out.
There's a regular breath for the rest of us. Then you can see the lightning is working its way in now. We still get these big fulminating charges. This is a great spot to use dispersion as a shadow priest. This is where you want to use it right here. So watch this. I basically don't take any damage.
I have 2. I'm just going to chill.
I actually got 2 stacks there because I was in somebody else's ring right when my ring detonated. So now I'm taking double damage. I'm going to get chunked pretty hard here. But I have my dispersion going for most of it, so I'm good. I have Desperate Prayer. And then here's the last 10% of the boss fight.
As soon as you can, like right now. Ish.
Pushback happening. After pushback.
Impact less.
What's happening there?
Oh my god.
Emmy is here. You have your pet out or no?
Breath.
Good, good, good.
There's a stupid follow that comes in in the minute there, but this is the very end of the fight.
Just stack up.
Beat her up, ma'am.
Do you wanna?
Good shit. Let's go. Woo!
And that's it, guys.
Oh man.
That's the Raszageth fight there. So it's there's a lot going on in that fight, and it ends up being pretty complicated at the end of the day. But it's like any of the other Pinnacle boss fights. I mean, once you Pinnacle, I'm talking like Path of Exile. It's like any of the other like end of a raid boss fights. They're very complicated, and they should be. I mean, that's just the way it should go. It's fun when the final boss is actually a big challenge. I don't even know how many pulls it took us to get it down. It might have only been 15 or 20 max to kill her on normal. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. But just remember, in phase 1, you're getting pushed back into the lightning zones, and you want to make sure that you have a defensive up. Like Fade is a really good defensive to use there because it gives you 10% DR, right, with the talents with Translucent Image. So that's a good time to use that. Don't get knocked off the platform. Make sure you get knocked into the lightning zone itself. That's basically all you need to do for P. P1 also has the Dispel, so make sure you use Mass Dispel to get rid of those, okay? Phase 2 is the ads. Make sure you have some AoE damage. So take Mind Seer for phase 2. Really, really important. You could also take Psychic Link if you want to, but realistically, no. You should just go with Mind Seer. That's going to be your best AoE tool for P2. So P2 is dodge the beams that are when she's melting parts of the platform. You need to get out of that, and then you need to kill the ads in P2. Okay? P3, you go back to the main platform. That's where you're stacking up with your different debuffs. You got your Storm debuff and your little Cloudy debuff, and you want to keep those separate and stand together and nuke the boss down. You get a big buff when you have that debuff on you, so you need to pop your cooldowns when you're in that window. Okay, that's really important as well. Okay, then the rest of that fight, you're getting pushed back with that big like ring of lightning that hurts quite a bit. You just have to survive until the Vault Integrity gets low enough. Then P4 begins. That's when the big ad spawns that he sends out balls that you need to dodge. She's melting the platform from up above. And then there's little ads that you have to stop from getting to the big ad. Things like Ring of Peace. Things like Chaos Nova from a DH. Cap Totem from a Enhancement Shaman. AoE slows. Vortex from a Druid. Any of those things will work, okay? And then you nuke the ads down, the little ads, and then you have to go back to killing the big ad. Once the ads are dead, you get launched to the original platform that you're on, I think the very first platform. Very important that you remember where you need to stand for that. Go to the correct marker. If you're on a team, you're going to need to mark the floor somewhere and let everybody know, go stand here for the final phase. And in the final phase, of course, you have that big ring that surrounds everything, the lightning ring. That's your hardened rage. It's going to work its way in. And if you haven't killed the boss by the time it gets into the middle, then you're dead. But remember, in the final phase, you'll have Lust back up again, second Lust, and you basically just have to use your defensives and stay alive. It's actually, the final phase is not that hard at all. Probably the hardest 2 phases of this fight are phase 1 and maybe phase 3, but otherwise it's a really good fight. I love this fight. As a Shadow Priest, you have lots and lots of ways to stay alive. You see I used Dispersion multiple times there. use this cooldown, man. This is one of the most powerful defensive cooldowns in the entire game. Yes, you can't cast anything when you're using it, but it's still incredibly powerful. On top of that, make sure you're using Fade on cooldown. Use Vampiric Embrace on cooldown. Look at the healing that I did on this fight. I did almost as much healing as one of our tanks did. That was just with my Power Word Shield usage and my Mental Fortitude. That's with Vampiric Touch, right? So your Vampiric Touch is the healing that you get from Vampiric Touch will shield you. So really, really big. I healed a lot of other people with Halo, and then Vampiric Embrace, of course, were my top heals there. So make sure that you're constantly shielding yourself when you want to move somewhere, and with Body and Soul, it'll give you that movement speed, right? You press shield and you can move really, really quickly like this to get out of mechanics, okay? That's Raszageth, guys, and that's what I ran for my build when I killed her. I did, in fact, run Unfurling Darkness. I think I also ran Whispers of the Dam. So I would take 1 point out of Whispers of the Dam and I would put it into Mindseer for that P2 ad phase. Very, very important there. So let me know what you guys think. Have you guys killed Raszageth yet? I think it's an awesome boss fight. One of the better end of a raid boss fights in a while. Honestly, I liked it a lot more than some of the ones in Shadowlands. So really, really enjoyed this raid. We're going to be pushing through onto Heroic, my raid team. So we're going to start next week on Heroic, and it should be a lot of fun. So make sure you're tuning into the stream for that, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.